a bell end for running on the pitch.
Yeah.
And kicking thingy, and he's just a bell end just for being so miserable.
Here we go. It's Eat My Goal, another episode with Mike and Dan. Eat My Goal is the twice weekly podcast where we talk about football. We talk about football. No, we talk about Portsmouth in the last episode and football in general in this episode. We take a light-hearted look at it. But if you're watching the Portsmouth ones, you won't think it's very light-hearted. But today we are going to talk about some Premier League stuff. We have a quiz. Dan's going to tell us all about his, how should we put it? Whinge of the Week is what we're calling it, isn't it? And we're going to have another Wheel of Misfortune. Dan, do you want to kick off with your Whinge of the Week? Tell us what's griped you this week.
Oh, so many things, Mike.
Where to start?
But none of them football related. So I was just going to put a picture of my wife on the background, but she may accidentally watch this. So yes, my whinge of the week. It's more of my Wally of the week.
Oh, okay.
In fact,
yeah.
It's more of my Wallies of the week, and it is pretty obvious. It's this pair
of plums.
Donge pieces. So here we've got
Richarlison. We have Richarlison to your left.
Yeah, and who's
right
this
as
one?
I'm looking at it.
Oh, mate. Who's
this
one?
And that one there is, I think, is it Ed Sheeran?
It's
Ed Sheeran covering his face after getting on the pitch at the Arsenal Spurs game.
That's the chap. I think it's a cross between Rodney Trotter and Crispian Mills of Cooler Shaker fame.
Oh, yes. I'm seeing what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell us about these two twits.
Let's start with Richarlison.
Go on.
So, what's up with him? What's up with him, Mike? Why is he so fucking miserable all the time?
I think it's because he plays football for a living and gets paid like 150 grand a week.
Oh, I can tell you. He gets £90,000 a week.
Oh, that's why then. He's only on 90 grand a week. No one who can live on 25-year-old can live on 90 grand a week then.
Exactly. It's just, I don't expect people to be happy all the time, and I like people that get a bit of have a bit of aggression on the football field, because they want to win. But he just looks like he's fucking going to cry, doesn't he? All the time. He just looks like he's on the verge of tears. I don't know. Did you see him in the Arsenal game? When he came on for a 19-minute debut, 19-minute appearance.
Little cameo at the end. I did watch that game actually, and I didn't really see what I know he was involved at the end there. What was his? Did he just take umbrage to something that Ramsdale did?
He'd already refused a handshake from his Brazilian teammate Martinelli.
Oh right,
which he's since come out and apologised for.
Okay.
And he said he didn't like it because Martinelli kept diving, apparently, throughout the game.
Okay. And it's just unlike Richarlison, who never goes to
exactly. If you just watch him, it's just every he's one of those players that any time he goes in for a tackle or 50-50 or anyone fouls him or goes in strong on him, he's always got to have a little lash out or have a few words, and you can see him doing it all the time with people. And I think with the Ramsdale one, it was right at the end, wasn't it? And Ramsdale had the ball in his hands. He was going to kick it upfield. And I think as he kicked it away, Richarlison said something to him, and Ramsdale probably just said, "Do one."
Yeah, you nincompoop.
And then Ramsdale's turned around and said things to the fans, which is when the fan came on and kicked him in the back. And I had a debate with my dad about this, because he said, "Oh well, he shouldn't be saying stuff to the fans." I said, "Well, all he's done is he's turned around and kissed his badge, and he's probably had 90 minutes at least of
abuse,
them saying things about his family, about his whatever, just screaming and screaming. And he's turned around and kissed his badge. Yeah, oh, bad luck. You know what I mean?
After beating them,
you got to take it, haven't you? If you can dish it out, you got to take it.
Yeah.
And then old Crispian Mills has come on and coolly shaken his little leg at him, and gave a little tap in the back, which is the weakest kick. And now he's probably going to be banned for life because for that.
Oh, you'd hope so. You'd like to hope so, wouldn't you?
he's done it on a live Premier League Super Sunday game, so he's really messed up, hasn't he?
Yeah, and
yeah,
obviously somebody took a picture of it on their phone.
yeah,
and got his face nicely, although he did try and
yeah,
cunningly cover it with that scarf. But
yeah. I'm surprised. Yeah, he's done pretty well. He's just
yeah,
missed out half of his, and he's got that sort of 1999, early 2000s moddy hairdo, Britpop hairdo. So he's not going to be hard to spot. But yeah, so I just don't know what. I don't. He's a bell end for running on the pitch.
Yeah.
And kicking thingy, and he's just a bell end just for being so miserable.
So full stop.
So what? I mean, do you
know
know
who
what
he
his
reminds me of?
are?
Do you know who he reminds me of? Oh, sorry, go on. His stats. Yeah, go on. No, I don't.
Played 11, scored none.
Who, Richarlison?
After a £60 million move.
Really?
So, yep.
Wow.
I think six of those are from the subs bench as well. But yeah, 0 goals.
0. Unlucky. He reminds me of El Hadj Diouf.
Yeah.
Just one of those players that, unless he plays for your team, you're just going to hate him, aren't you?
Yeah. He's constantly wound up.
Yeah.
Coiled
constantly
spring.
angry. Constantly angry. Just wakes up in the morning. What are you having for? What do you reckon? What's his first name? It can't just be Richard. Richie. What are you having for breakfast? Love. What am I having for breakfast? Hey, how dare you ask me what I'm having for breakfast? What I always have for breakfast? Nails.
Yeah.
Bag of nails. Come on, get them out.
Oh, are you all right? Are you all right, Dave? You've been miserable since birth.
Yeah. Well, good win of the week is he's got to be banned for life, isn't he? I don't care what somebody does. When obviously a player a la Cantona enters the thing, obviously he gets rightfully punished. But there's never ever, don't matter what you feel about a player or a team or anything. There's never ever an excuse for a fan to go on the pitch and anywhere else he would have been arrested, wouldn't he? So it's assault. He kicked him in the back. Could have been much worse. Obviously, luckily it was he looked like a bit of he was wearing
Chelsea boots.
Yeah, something that wasn't going to cause that much of a
pair of pasties, I think it was.
Yeah, and didn't seem. But anyway,
at least Cantona did it properly.
Yes,
he connected, didn't he? Connected. Yeah. He gave him a proper kick. If you're gonna do it properly. Don't just wipe your dog shit on someone's back, which is what it looks like.
Yeah, take that. He looked so pleased with himself coming back up the stand as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
That showed him, didn't it? That showed him.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Ramsdale barely turned around when he did it, didn't he? It was almost
yeah.
Oh, what happened there? I don't even know what happened there. Someone throw like an empty coffee cup at me or something.
Yeah, and also Richarlison gave Ramsdale a big push in the face as well, didn't he? Did you see that?
He's just a penis, isn't he?
So just an absolute you're going to get yourself in trouble, aren't you? Just keep out of it.
Good whinge. I like it. Yeah, very, very much deserved. Let's just on the subject of Premier League. Over the weekend, let's start off with the Premier League chat. With what was your thoughts on the Rashford offside, the Ferdinand goal, not Fernandez goal? Everyone's had a little chat about it. Everyone's had their opinion.
There's been so much. I mean, most of the opinions, I think, I'm of that opinion, in that you've just got to disallow it purely on a common sense perspective. In that you can see, I mean, even if it takes a couple of looks going back and looking at the video, even if the referee does that, you can see the ball is intended for Rashford to start off with. Okay, so yes, that doesn't necessarily mean offside, because somebody could come in from behind him, which is exactly what happened. But then Rashford hasn't just stepped, he hasn't just moved out of the way of the ball. He's gone towards the ball. He's almost looked like he was going to shoot. I mean, some people they've edited out Rashford from that thingy, from the footage, haven't they? But they've done it as a still, and then they're going, well, look, the ball's right in front of, who was the defender?
Kenji.
Yeah, the ball's right in front of him. Yeah, no, but the ball was travelling quite fast. So regardless of whether the ball's right there, Akanji wasn't going to get there anyway. But So
and
it all
ultimately,
depends
he
on how you
also had
interpret it.
Rashford in the way, didn't he? He also had Rashford
Exactly.
in between him
Yeah.
and the ball. So therefore,
I think. I mean, you can see why it was allowed, but I just think common sense says, come on, he's got to be interfering in that passage of play, because he's made a move towards the ball. The ball's intended for him. Yes, Fernandez has come from an offside position and finished it, but I just think.
So you're saying it should have been ruled out?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I agree. I do agree. I think people are saying by the letter of the law. I think actually, if you look at the letter of the law, it's if somebody is impeding another player getting to the ball or obstructing somebody getting the ball. So therefore, by the letter of the law, he's still it should be offside, because he's clearly in between two defenders and the ball. So at the time, if I'm honest with you, it made a nice game of it for the last 10 minutes. So I was kind of pleased it was given, because it would have been that City would have just played out the game and they probably would have maybe scored another 1-2-0. But it changed the dynamic of the game, didn't it? And I've noticed this with City this season, is that they aren't as resilient as they used to be, are they? They seem to drop quite. I thought that actually first half in that game they were pretty poor. I thought, compared to their normal high standards, the amount of misplaced passes. De Bruyne was very, very quiet. Second half, obviously, a lot better, but I think they're getting to me like, and I put on my notes, are they getting a bit boring? It's a little bit like when Pep was at Barcelona. I thought the first couple of years, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. No team like it in the world. They're playing football out of this world. Obviously, some of the greatest players in the world, but just like City. But I think they got to a stage where actually it's a little bit like Arsenal did under Wenger, overpassing it, overplaying it. It just got to a bit of a stage where it's like, come on, someone just have a shot or something. Just stop passing it around the midfield. And it's all very good and it's all triangles. And it's nice and it looks pretty, but actually it's just boring. It's just like netball or something like that. Nothing's really happening. Although that's disrespectful for netball, because actually it's a much fast-paced game. Just nothing's happening. You're just passing it around 3 or 4 players. There's no killer ball. There's no attempt to get the ball in the box, and it's just a bit boring. And I thought Barcelona were like that towards the end of Pep's reign there. I thought Arsenal were definitely like that for about 10 years under Wenger. And then City, I think, the last 3 or 4 games I've seen of them have just been a little bit the same, with the exception when they played Chelsea, because Chelsea was so shockingly bad.
But then that goes back to what I said on our Pompey podcast previously, in that you sort of change your mind over the course of a couple of games, because a few weeks ago we were saying Arsenal were top, but Man City will easily catch them. Man City easily going to win the league. And in fact, we already said that Man City were champions, didn't we, at the beginning of the season after 3 or 4 games?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. And the South, did you see the Southampton game, the cup game midweek?
Oh, I didn't know.
I think that's the worst I've ever seen Man City play.
Not a single shot on target, did they?
Not a shot on target, and they were just so. It was almost like it was one of those games where, if you were a Man City fan, or if you were a fan of any club that was playing like that, even after about 70 minutes, you'd go, I'm going to shoot off, because it's one of those where nothing they tried was working. They all their passing was crap. And I spoke to someone who's a massive Man City fan, and he even said that. He said it's the worst I've seen us play for years. So maybe they are on a downward slope.
Well, I don't know so much about that. It's a bit of a blip, I think. But
I think it's a blip. Yeah,
I think it is a bit of a blip. I still think that if it wasn't for Arsenal being so consistent, I would still say that City will win the league, because they are the best team in the league. But Arsenal, I saw them when I watched them against Spurs. First time I've seen them in a while, and they did look bloody good.
They do, don't they? It's every time now. It's I know I keep using this phrase, but we talked about this before, in that we've said that when Arsenal play those top teams in the Premier League, that's when they struggle, and they seem to just be they seem to have got past that stage this season.
Yeah, consistent,
and
up for it.
I even put them down for a defeat at the weekend. I thought Tottenham were on a relatively good run. I think they're going to go there. They're going to be up for it. Arsenal had already beaten them at the Emirates. Tottenham not playing too bad. I thought they might get a win, and then it was another comfortable win, like
and
it was
comfortable,
away at
wasn't
Chelsea. Yeah,
it was comfortable.
Yeah, and I think that's the
2-0,
difference.
but it was
it's
comfortable.
not like it's not like they're nicking victories. It's like the Brighton game a few weeks ago. Apart from the last 10-15 minutes, the Chelsea game away.
And I think it shows
really
what a difference a good manager makes, because obviously Arteta's got a lot of stick, but they stuck with him. They knew his philosophy was going to work, but not even look at the players he's brought in. Look at the players he's got rid of. Aubameyang obviously doing nothing at Chelsea. But I think the biggest thing for me about Arteta is that you look at Granit Xhaka. 2 or 3 years ago, I said, he's never an Arsenal level player. But now he's consistently 7, 8 out of 10, isn't he? Every game, and he's still got that little mentalness about him, hasn't he? But in a way that you actually put up with it because you think he's an asset on the pitch, whereas before he wasn't an asset on the pitch, and you just think he's just going to get himself sent off at some stage. And what's the point in having him there? Whereas I thought, I thought he was excellent at the weekend. I thought he just held everything together, allowed Odegaard to play. Yeah, and I thought Odegaard was excellent. I thought they're excellent across the pitch. So, Ben White, a right back, brilliant. Goalkeeper, very good. So, So anyway,
they're players that could quite easily struggle. I mean, a year ago you could put out the same team, and they could struggle. But
a lot of young players.
I think it's just a lot of confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, in the way they play, ability. I would even say. Now I'm going to put my head on the block here, and I'd even say if they beat Man United at the weekend, they will win the league.
Yeah, I would. I think let's wait for the Man City game that's coming up, isn't it? Is that the
well? Yeah, they've got yes, I suppose. But even then, they're 9 points clear, 8 points clear of City, 9 points clear of United. Not that I'm saying United are title challengers, but obviously they've won like 9 in a row. But anyway. How do you fancy another Wheel of Misfortune?
I would fucking love it.
I've got 3 names. We've still got the David Beckham spin on there from last week.
I'll guarantee I'm going to get that one right.
We've also got Ryan Giggs, and we've got
Scotland. Oh, that's a...
Scotland. Here we go. I'm going to spin it. I'm going to click to spin. Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get, Dan? The wheel is spinning. Is it going to be Ryan Giggs? Is it going to be David Beckham? It's going to be David Beckham.
Yeah.
David Beckham is probably my least favourite on here, but we'll go with David Beckham. So we have a winner, David Beckham. Let's remove him from there. Which of these David Beckham quotes?
I'm all over this.
Which of these quotes is an actual David Beckham quote? This was a quote from David Beckham when he was the ambassador for the Qatari World Cup. So did he say the standard of football in this country has improved massively, but that's not saying much, to be honest?
Right.
Or did he say it's one of the best spice markets I've ever been to? I cannot wait to bring my children here. Or did he say this was all Victoria's idea? I'm talking about what did he say publicly, rather than he probably said at least 2 of those. Yeah. But which of those did he quote publicly?
I thought it was going to be a 90s, 2000s Beckham quote. You've stitched me right up there. I'm going to go for the Victoria's idea.
It was all Victoria's idea. Do you think he'd say that publicly? It's not. It's the spice markets.
Oh, crazy.
It's one of the best spice markets I've ever... In feigning interest in his tour of Qatar, he said, this is one of the best... He's been to a lot of spice markets, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a deliberate link into, obviously, the Spice Girls, but
that's
one of the best,
that one out.
best spice markets I've ever been to. I cannot wait to bring my children here, is what David, the sellout Beckham... So
as far as spice markets go, they've got a bloody good one.
Oh, right up
not
there.
Only, it's so good that I would even inflict it on my kids. I would take my kids there.
I would take my kids there.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Right. Who do you fancy out of Ryan Giggs or Scotland? Let's spin it and find out.
Let's go for Giggsy.
You're hoping for Giggs, are you?
Giggs.
It's Scotland. Now,
did Scotland say this?
Who said of Scotland? It drove me crazy, Scotland. It was cold. It was abuse. When reflecting upon his 2-month trial at St Mirren in 2009. Was it Riyad Mahrez? Was it Alexander Zivchenko? Or was it Hung Min Son? Which of those three Premier League superstars said when they were on a 2-month trial at St Mirren in 2009?
It drove me crazy. It was abuse.
It drove me crazy, Scotland. It was cold. It was abuse.
It was abuse. Okay. Well, I'm going to rule out Zivchenko. Because he should be used to cold weather.
He should be.
And abuse. I'm going to go for, it's Mahrez, isn't it? I don't even remember anyone going to St Mirren for. Yeah, it's Mahrez. It's Mahrez. It's not anyone.
It is Mahrez. It is correct. It is Riyad Mahrez. Did say that of. Imagine him at St Mirren in 2009. That would have been a coup for them, wouldn't it?
Christ.
Would have been a coup. Okay, that concludes this week's Wheel of Misfortune. There will be one more in 2 weeks' time. Next week, we will have something different. We'll save the Ryan Giggs one for then. It's a good one, Ryan Giggs.
Yeah.
It is a good one. Time to move on to the quiz, Dan. Do you want to start the quiz?
Yep.
I've a little bit like Portsmouth. I've lost track of where we are with the quiz. Are you winning 6-5?
I think you say rather like Portsmouth. I've lost interest.
Mid-pod,
yeah.
mid-podcast. I've lost interest in this podcast.
Mid-season.
So I'll let you finish off on your own.
I don't know. I thought it was something like 6-5 to me or something.
Yeah, I think it is 6-5 to you. Yeah, I think it is 6-5 to you.
If you don't clean up this week, then you're thick.
Okay.
Simple as that.
I don't like the fact that you've said that I have to clean up after I've just mentioned that I'm going to leave you to finish off on your own.
Yeah. I don't even know how I'm going to mark this. All right.
Okay.
But we can decide that after you've got all of them, because I think you will do.
Okay.
So
what
I've done is there is 11 players.
Yep.
Who have won the Premier League for 2 different teams.
Okay.
And those 11 players can actually be put into the formation of a football team. So you can have, it's a goalkeeper, it's 2 fullbacks, it's 3 centre-backs, it's 2 centre midfielders and an attacking midfielder and 2 strikers. Can you name
any of them? Can I name any of them?
I mean, yeah, you.
Okay,
yeah,
Kante. Kante.
Kante is one of your centre mids. Yeah. Honestly, they're all household names. They're all names that you. If you don't get any, you'll kick yourself.
Is Drinkwater in there as well? Did he qualify for Chelsea when they won?
No.
Oh, okay. Cesc Fabregas.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why not? Oh, I guess he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't win the Premier League with Arsenal, did he? We went through this.
Oh, we did go through this. Yes, we did. How many do I get? Is that 2 already?
That's 2 already. So we'll say
3 max.
Yeah.
Now,
the goalkeeper is the only one who was a backup.
Willy Caballeros.
Yeah. He's going to keep screaming names at me. I'll have to give you another won't I? It's not Willy Caballeros, all right? So we'll ignore that.
Okay. Oh man.
I can tell you the teams they played for, but honestly, once I start telling you teams, you'll just reel them off.
Well, it's one of a few, isn't it? It's either going to be Blackburn, Manchester United, Liverpool, Man City.
Yes, but it was 2 teams.
Okay, so Milner.
Milner is correct. Man City and Liverpool.
Okay.
So
Gael Clichy. Gael
Clichy is one of your fullbacks.
Okay, good.
I'll give you a clue. I've put fullbacks because they could possibly both be left-sided. Arsenal, Man City, that was Clichy.
Oh, Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole, Arsenal, Chelsea.
You're on a roll now. How many have I got so far?
So you've got a goalkeeper, 3 centre-backs, another attacking midfielder.
Did I get the
and 2
goalkeeper?
strikers to get. No, you didn't get the goalkeeper.
Oh,
I told you.
still to get.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant I've got the goal. Right.
Yeah.
2 centre-backs.
3 centre-backs.
Eesh.
All get.
Oh, centre-back is who's that one who played for David May?
David May is not on the list.
What's the other one? Henningberg.
Henningberg, Blackburn and Man United. I think he was the first one to do it. Right, come on. Other centre back. We're just gonna. We're not worried about points.
One more failure, and that's
other centre back. Out of the 2 centre backs, one of them was for Arsenal and Man City.
Oh, no. Colo Torre?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other centre back, the last centre back, if I told you the teams, you would know immediately.
Okay.
I think of it.
What about? I'm going to say Mikel Silvestre.
Mikel Silvestre
is wrong. Okay, let's say I failed this.
Okay.
Go on, tell me the teams, and then we'll reel through.
Chelsea, Leicester.
Centre back. Oh, Huth.
Huth.
Yes, of course.
The attacking midfielder, let's say wide midfielder, wide midfielder, Leicester and Man City.
Oh, Mahrez.
Yeah, and the 2 strikers, which you never even got to.
Okay, let's have a little.
Manchester.
Oh, Tevez.
Yeah.
Tevez. Are they both Manchester? Are they?
The last one, I think, played for about 30 different Premier League clubs. That's an exaggeration, and very much reminded me of this chap here, especially his nickname. Reminded me of this chap because he was quite
sulky. Not bad.
I think that was his nickname, wasn't it? The Incredible Sulk. Was that not one of his nicknames?
I don't know who it is.
Oh. Arsenal, Chelsea. Also played for Bolton.
Anelka. City.
Yeah. City,
yes.
yeah.
What about Giroud? No, Giroud didn't do it for both, did he? He was part of the Arsenal team that didn't win it for years. Well done. Okay. Was there anyone else that I haven't got?
No, that's it. That's your 11. Oh no, the keeper. We didn't do the keeper.
Oh
Exciting keeper, didn't we? The one that was so this was a backup keeper, but he is a household name. He's a keeper that played a lot for Middlesbrough, but that's not
Mark Schwarzer.
League with. Yeah.
I was thinking Mark Schwarzer. Who did he Manchester City? Chelsea and Leicester. Yes, of course. Okay, yes.
There you go.
Yes. Okay. Wow, that was right. I did terribly on it. Half marks, 2.5. Well, I tell you what, you're going to get. You're going to win. You're going to win. I can guarantee it. So I've gone down the line. No, I've gone down the line that what you did a couple of weeks ago, and I've gone with their Portsmouth linked players. I'm going to tell you who they played for.
Oh
you got to tell me. You got to tell me who the player is. There's 2 that are tricky, I think, and 3 that are dead easy. So number one is. I'll tell you the years as well. So his career went from 1998 to 2015. In 98 to 2001, Celtic. During that time, he had loans with Birmingham and Ipswich. 2001 to 2005, Portsmouth. During that time, he had loans at Dundee and Wigan, and Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham. 2005, Heart of Midlothian. Then followed short stints with Dunfermline, Rotherham, Kilmarnock, Enosis Neon, Esan United, and finally Livingston.
So it went Celtic, Birmingham, Ipswich, Pompey. Is that right?
Celtic, Portsmouth. This is the permanent clubs. Celtic, Portsmouth, Hearts, Dunfermline, Rotherham, etc., etc., etc.
Are you not telling me the
24 games
for these players?
24 games for Portsmouth, 8 goals.
Yeah, I think I know it is. But are these not the order? Was it Celtic, Pompey?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Is it Jerry Craney?
No.
Oh, what the?
No. Do you want a clue?
Mark
Birchall is correct. Yeah. Yes. Right, that's the tricky one out of the way. I'll give you a half point because you got Craney wrong first. Okay. So next one. 92 to 2009 is his career, but 92 to 95 he played for Telstar. I thought they made record. I didn't realise they had a football team going as well. 95 to 99, Barnsley. 99 to 2002, Wigan. 2002 2005, Portsmouth.
Barnsley, Wigan, Portsmouth.
Then back to Wigan for 2 years, a year at Coventry, and then a year at ADO20.
Yeah, we're all right. I think I'm all right anyway. I think.
Go on.
Is it Dzeu?
Dzeu, whoever you say it, that's who it is. Yes, 1.5. Here we go. Next one. By the way, if you want a clue at any stage, I'll give you their England, not their England career, just giving you a clue for this one.
They're England caps.
They're England caps. They're international caps, is what I meant to say. Anyway, Here we go. 78 to 99, this guy. 78 to 99. So 78 to 83, Coventry. Included a loan at Detroit Express. I think that's a pizza place. 83 to 84, Portsmouth. 84 to 87, AC Milan. 87 to 90, Monaco. 90 to 95, Rangers. 95 to 97, Queen's Park Rangers. 97, Rangers. 97 to 98, Hull. 99, Ross County.
83 to 84,
Pompey.
Mark Haley.
Yeah. Mark Haley is correct.
Yeah.
Next.
99 till 99, did you say?
Yeah,
Still
played till 99.
99.
Yeah, Ross County, 2 games. One season at Pompey, 38 games, league games, 22 goals. Not bad. I think, didn't he join Milan for a couple of million, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Also, interesting fact about Mark Haley, do you remember the John Barnes wonder goal at the Maracanã?
The one where he took on about 2 players, yeah.
Yeah, it's just he ran forever and nobody attempted to tackle him.
Check out Baggio's.
Mark Haley, I believe, scored the other goal in that game, didn't he? In a 2-0 win.
That's right, yeah.
So here we go. The next player is 88 to 2014, this player.
Yep.
Are you ready for this? 88 to 92, Watford. 92 to 99, Liverpool. 99 to 2001, Villa. 2001 to 2004, West Ham United. 2004, 2006, David James. Okay, 3.5. You've already won, but this one is the icing on the cake.
This is a toughie, is it, this one?
This is a toughie,
yeah.
I'm 75,
75
to 89 are his
That's my era.
stats.
That is my era.
Okay, he only played 100 games for 2 clubs, over 100 games for 2 clubs. Everyone else he had short stints with. So 75 to 79, Cambridge United, 165 games. 79 to 81, Derby, 47 games. 81 to 82, Everton, 19 games. He had a loan during that period at Stoke, 8 games. Then here comes the 82 to 84, Portsmouth. Great record, 105 games, 50 goals.
Hey?
105 games, 50 goals, 82 to 84. We'll go next. Brighton Hove Albion, 84 to 86. Cambridge, 86 87. Paniosios, 87 88. And then finally, a Waterford United, 88 89 season. Who?
84.
BI.
Derby, Everton to Pompey. And then to Brighton.
Cambridge, 165. Got 74 goals in those 165 games. And that, again, a great, almost 1 in 2 record.
I don't think I'm going to get it. Cambridge, Derby, Everton.
Yeah, you will.
82 to 84.
70s, iconic. 70s and 80s, iconic. Played in the 80s, looked like he was from the 70s.
Well, a forward. Striker, yeah.
Yep.
It's the Everton to Pompey to Brighton that's confusing me.
I wouldn't read too much into the Everton. I didn't even know he played for Everton, to be honest with you. But
Alan Bailey
is correct. Alan Bailey.
Should have got that much earlier, shouldn't I?
Alan Bailey is correct. 4.5. You are 7-5 in the lead. Well played to you. Well played to you.
Should have swept it clean, shouldn't I? Should have swept it clean.
Yeah. My clue for Birchall, by the way, was going to be a clip of Redknapp.
See, I would have still said that's Jerry Craney. I don't know why. I always used to get those two mixed up for some reason.
Yeah.
I always think that's Jerry Craney that booted the ball at his head, but it wasn't, was it?
No, I think Craney had gone by then, hadn't he? Craney was a little bit earlier, wasn't he? Okay, right.
Trying to kick it a goal. What do you hit me?
No, I knew
some fucking brains, did you? Yeah. Anyway, the Wolves game.
Yeah, how's the Wolves game going, by the way? Have you seen these scores tonight?
Let's have a look.
It's Liverpool Wolves tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, surely they should be losing, shouldn't they?
Oh, Liverpool beat Wolves. Beat Wolves. They beat them by 1-0.
Oh, how tedious. 1 boring 0.
Elliott with the goal, 13 minutes in. The rest of the game.
No. God,
imagine being at that game.
How great he is.
Imagine being at that game in the cold West Midlands and having to watch 77 minutes of just chasing the game, which who knows. Anyway, on that point, so although Liverpool won tonight, that's their first victory 17 days into this year. That's their first victory of the year. Why do you think Liverpool and Chelsea are currently going through such a bad run of form?
Don't know.
That's what you come on this podcast for. You get some people go to the Guardian Football Weekly, and they get the thingy Winter, the Guardian sports writer, and people renowned people from the world of football. But if you want the real chat, what you do is you come to this pod, because that's the insight you get. Don't know.
Yeah, don't know.
Okay, let's start with Liverpool. So Liverpool,
obviously
they were terrible, weren't they, against Brighton at the weekend?
Yeah.
Pretty poor.
Klopp said so, didn't he?
Yep, they were pretty poor. Pretty much the same squad they had last year when they were still in 4 trophies coming up to the final days. In our layman's knowledge of the game, do you think that has an effect on you the following season? Could have won so much, but then you just settle for 2 cup trophies that you won on penalties.
I don't know. You can't. You just can't play. You're going to have peaks and troughs, aren't you? You can't just play consistently at a high level. So, you're seeing it with Man City at the minute.
So it's just a blip again.
Liverpool had a poor. Yeah, I mean, they had a poor start, didn't they? And then they picked it up again, and then they lost their only defender, who plays every minute of every game, and so they're going to start being beaten again, aren't they?
Yeah, the defenders alongside Van Dijk are distinctly kind of average, aren't they?
Yeah,
they are just. Don't get me wrong, they're above average, let's put it that way, but they're made to look better by Van Dijk, aren't they? Because he does.
Yeah, I think that's been the problem with Liverpool for the last few seasons, wasn't it? That they've got a brilliant first 11, one of the best in the league, if not the best. But then, as soon as certain players do get injured, they don't have the quality to fill those spots. And I think the loss of Mane, or getting rid of Mane, has clearly had
an impact. I don't think it helps, does it, when your so-called Mane replacements, Diaz and Jota, both been injured fairly long term, haven't they? So Liverpool currently 9th, 28 points. They are 10 points behind Manchester United in 4th. Where do you think they'll finish? Currently 9th. Do you think they'll finish top 6?
So what are we talking points wise? How many points did you say behind Man United?
They're 10 points behind Man United. They are 5 behind Spurs in 5th.
Well, okay, so that's manageable, isn't it? I still think, Arsenal, City top 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Newcastle. Yeah. I mean, this could be something where, like the Arsenal thing, where we're saying Newcastle, oh yeah, they're not going to be up there, but then if they carry on, we might be saying in a month's time, oh, actually, Newcastle are going to finish in the top 4. But at this moment, I can't see Newcastle keeping it up. So I would think Tottenham will be one of the other 4, and then Man United. So no, in that case, I can't see Liverpool, especially with the loss of Van Dijk, because he's out for a while, isn't he?
Okay. So
I think he makes a big difference.
Yeah. Newcastle, by the way, only lost one game this season in the league and have only conceded 11 goals in 19 games.
They've only lost one in the league.
Yep.
Blimey. I
can't even think it was two. Was that against Arsenal? I can't even remember.
No, because
they have drawn a lot. They've drawn 8. They've drawn 8, but they've only lost 1. Pretty decent, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so next down the league in 10th place, an unusual place for them, is Chelsea. They're also on 28 points, but they played a game more than Liverpool. It's all gone tits up for Chelsea, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it's gone very tits up.
He's done well, hasn't he? He's he's really he's really done well.
I think it's one of those situations whereby obviously a manager has done a great job at a smaller club, and you think, oh, he's done an amazing job there, and then he leaves, and you think, oh well, okay, so you don't know whether he's going to be a success at Chelsea or not. But you think, well, surely Brighton can't match what they've done so far under Potter. But actually, Brighton, I think, look not much better, but they seem a bit more clinical, don't they, since Potter's gone?
Mm.
They're still playing some good football. They're winning some games you wouldn't necessarily expect them to win, comfortably, obviously, against Liverpool. But they're maintaining that that level and probably scoring more goals, I'd say. So, Chelsea are struggling, aren't they? 22 goals they've scored in 19 games. So it's not difficult to see where their problem really lies, is it? But Chelsea are probably my least favourite Premier League side, I think.
Out of all of them?
Out of all of them, yeah. I'd say they're my least favourite.
We were including, that's what I mean. So you're including Southampton, Liverpool. You're including teams like...
Actually, no, I'll take that back. Well, I'll tell you what, I will discount Southampton because I don't think they will still be a Premier League side come the end of this season. So therefore, I'll discount them. I'd say if you're looking at it from obviously the local rivalry of Southampton, of course, but I think over the years, the thing with Chelsea, and I know a lot of Premier League footballers are young lads who get in the spotlight and things, but I think Chelsea have had more than their fair share of absolute bell ends over the year, haven't they? John Terry, Diego Costa, Ashley Cole, to name but 3, have been just, on a human level, 3 of the worst human beings. If Joey Barton had played for Chelsea, he probably would kind of complete a bit of a rascal set. But just some of the most horrendous players.
I always gauge my how much I like a club on whether I would stay to the end of match of the day and watch their game. Chelsea, I probably would. But then you've got teams like before this season, Newcastle and Wolves and Fulham before this season. Those sort of teams where I'd go, teams like Stoke when they were in the Premiership, Sunderland, those teams where you go,
getting late.
Go up. I'm going to go up. I think. But Stoke. Yeah, but they did win. They did win 5-4 today. I'm going to give it a miss. I'm going to go to bed.
It's going to be dire. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so where do you think Chelsea are going to finish? They're 28 points, 19 games. They are also 10 points below. I mentioned United. Will they finish top 6?
Well, who's the 6th? Is it Fulham?
6th is Fulham. They've played a game more, but Fulham have obviously just beaten Chelsea.
Yeah, and how many points are they? How many points are they?
31. So they're 3 points in front.
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
But these teams that, when we were talking about Fulham at the beginning of the season, we were saying, oh yeah, they've done really, they've started off quite well. But I wouldn't have thought then that at the halfway mark of the season, we'd be saying, oh yeah, they're still actually doing really well, and they're now 6th in the league. So it's just whether these teams, Fulham, Newcastle, are going to drop off at any point, which you'd expect them to. But at the minute, I would say Chelsea are going to finish around that between the 6th and 10th mark.
All right. Okay. So, other games. Southampton beat Everton at Everton at the weekend.
They're shit, aren't they, Everton?
They're pretty poor, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Obviously, as I mentioned before, we're recording this on Tuesday night, Tuesday the 17th. I'm surprised Lampard hasn't gone as yet.
Yeah, Me too.
Because it's really, again, we go back to when we were talking about Portsmouth and Danny Cowley, and you're at that situation whereby they've looked poor for a while, haven't they? They've looked pretty poor for a while. If you look at their record, last 5, loss, drawn, loss.
And not against big teams either.
Well, you've just lost to the team that's bottom of the league, who were the only team who had a worse record than you.
Yeah.
So, it's time for a change, isn't it, Everton, you'd think? Got to be.
Yeah, I mean, he was there from when? Last season, was it? Midway through?
The early point last season, Benitez did the first kind of 18 or so games, didn't he? So he's probably had a year now.
Yeah, so he kept them up, didn't he, last season?
Just about.
Yeah.
I think he had a better starting position as well, though, didn't he? If he came in maybe at 16th, 17th, whereas now they're 19th. They're on a terrible run. They don't have any real quality in their side, do they? You don't look at any Everton player and think, no. If they go down, they're probably still, maybe Pickford. Yeah. Pickford staying in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe Gordon. But other than that, there's not many.
But they're saying that Commissioner Gordon, they're going to sell him for like 50, 60 million, aren't they? Really? Really? No. Why? Because he's your best player, and and even then, what's he doing week on week? He's not exactly setting the Premier League alight, is he?
I've not seen anything that really makes him that sort of level, but I suppose it's because he's young and British. Is he English? I don't know. Is he English or Scottish? Not sure. Okay, so Frank's still there at the end of the season, you think?
Definitely not. I think he'll be gone in the next few weeks if they could not pick up points. Then I think he'll be gone by the end of Feb, let's say.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they went with a short term, someone who is a Premier League survival specialist, again, such as the likes of Allardyce, maybe a Warnock, maybe a Chris Wilder, perhaps. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, and then Arsenal obviously still going strong. They are on a roll, aren't they? We spoke about this briefly earlier. They are on a roll. They're now 8 points clear, with the exception of being a defeat against Man United earlier in the season, which I think you've mentioned a couple of times. They were kind of unlucky to lose that game. Although they lost 3-1, it wasn't a 3-1 game by any stretch, and they kind of dominated play. But there's still a long way to go, isn't there? There is still a long way to go, and that's the only thing against them, I think, is that there's still 20 games.
Yeah, still only
halfway through. Having watched them against Spurs, I now think they're different this year. Arsenal, they are different. There's a different mentality to them. I wonder how they would be if they lost a couple of big players. Yeah, that's the key thing.
Yeah. I mean, they lost Jesus, didn't they? And thought that would impact them, but it hasn't so much. I know they've only played 2 or 3 games, or 3 or 4 games.
Actually, I think Nketiah actually looked pretty good against Spurs. I thought he played.
That's what I mean.
His movement was good.
Yeah, it's players like that have always been around in and around the club for the last few years, but they just seem to have stepped up, don't they? He's got them playing with confidence. Yeah, I think it's the same. It's if they can keep that keep their players fit, then we shall see. But it's a long old 20 games, but
Arsenal
get points
City.
for the next 5. Arsenal City.
Arsenal City.
Well, it just your opinions get swayed on what's happened. So I know that's an obvious thing to say, but they over the course of last week,
your opinions get swayed on the results that happen.
Well, that's what I mean. But they do, don't they? I mean, even if Man City were poor in the last 2 games, Arsenal were very good. But I still think City might pip them. I think it all boils down to that City Arsenal game in a couple of weeks' time. I think if Man City can beat them, that will bring it back to probably 5 points. Is that right? Are they 8 points in front?
They are 8 points in front, yeah.
And then that brings it back to 5 points, and then all of a sudden you've got a City win and an Arsenal draw at any point, and then you're closing that gap, and then you know how Man City can go on a 10, 15 game run where they just
absolutely, where they just knock
everyone.
teams away. City have got kind of an interesting run of games whereby so they've got Spurs next up Thursday, then Wolves, Arsenal in the cup, but that's a cup game, but then Spurs again in the league, then Villa, then Arsenal.
Spurs?
So Arsenal is 5 games away. But second,
what's the Thursday Spurs?
Thursday's
game?
a league game. Yeah, league game against Spurs on this Thursday. Then, like I say, then Wolves Sunday, FA Cup the following week, then Tottenham again, then Villa, then Arsenal in the league. Yeah.
Oh, the old play someone home and away within
a week and a bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or 2 weeks it'll be, but I don't know. I think you're right. I think it does hinge on. I think we will know by 25 games if Arsenal still have a 6-point cushion. You could say, a 9-point cushion. I think you could probably say that they are going to.
Yeah, but Mike, you said at the beginning of the season that it was all over. You said it yourself. You said Man City have already won the league.
I know, and I did believe that. But it's the old third season thing, isn't it? Very few teams win three leagues on the bounce, and City are obviously proving that how difficult it is because they, in my mind, if you look at them, player for player, squad for squad, you'd still take City's, wouldn't you? You'd say City's is the strongest squad. They got the most depth. Yeah, even if you look at, they've got a couple of centre backs out at the moment, they can still replace them with 2, very good centre backs. Maybe not world class, but 2 very good centre backs across the pitch. With the exception of De Bruyne, the other midfielders in there, they can interchange quite often, can't they? As long as you've got De Bruyne as the kind of linchpin. Haaland has gone a little bit quiet, hasn't he, the last few games?
Well, in the last 2 games, he hasn't scored a hat trick.
He hasn't scored, no.
But I think he's still playing the same. He's not, it sounds strange, but I don't think he's a great player. He's a great footballer, but he was scoring goals, and that's the difference. And I think now that he's not scoring goals or hasn't in the last
start questioning him.
Then you start getting questioned.
Yeah. So Arsenal's run is, I'd say, a little bit easier than City's over the next few games. So you've got, before the City game, you've got Man United at home, probably their toughest game. Then they've got Man City in the Cup, Everton away, Brentford at home. So by then, you expect them to still maintain that lead, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's when Arsenal, they're going to have a blip. They've got to have a blip. Every team has a blip. I mean, unless on rare occasions, but they're going to have a blip at some point. It's how long that blip lasts and how well Man City do whilst Arsenal are having their little blip, because it will happen.
Yeah. And we've seen it before, haven't we? They did it a couple of years back when Liverpool were streaking ahead and City pulled it back in and made it. Although they didn't catch them in the end, they made a challenge of it, didn't they? So took it to the final game. It'll be interesting. I think it is interesting, and I kind of like the fact it's kind of, if you look at the Premier League table, you'd think you're kind of in the late 90s, early 2000s, wouldn't you? Man United and Arsenal in the top 3. I knew if you swapped City out for Chelsea, that would be a late 90s, early 2000s Premier League table, wouldn't it? Okay, let's wrap up because it is late. It's been a long one, and nobody's listening. So you can contact us, eatmygoal22@gmail.com, on Twitter at eatmygoal22, and at facebook.com/eatmygoal22. Like and subscribe and put the little alert. You can get us every week. We are getting more and more listeners. For some reason, people are listening to this.
I think this week we might lose
lose some of the hardcore. Lose some of the hardcore. We'll
long.
It's all right. I'll edit this 2-hour thing down to just about 30 minutes. But even then, it'll be difficult to find a little clip for the beginning because
no, it will. I think that's the problem with this one is it's been really, really long, but there's been fuck all in it.
It's been like a Danny Cowley interview, hasn't
it? Yeah. The Cowley interview episode.
The Cowley goodbye speech. Thanks, Dan. And thanks to Dan as well. If you do like it, subscribe, share, tell your friends about what they're missing out on. We'll see you again next time. Maybe Portsmouth will have a manager by the time we return next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.